Once upon a time, a boy fell in love with a girl and made history. Long before creating a foundation, inking lucrative business deals, traveling the world with the sole mission to show up and do good, before pioneering a new way to be royal and actually have impact, before having two amazing children, and even before the announcement that stopped the world. That boy and that girl decided to wed, and their epic journey started with a ring. Now, many years later, Vogue magazine has named this engagement ring as one of the best of all time. So let's get into it. Thank you for clicking on my video, and if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Last week, we discussed Meghan being a Vogue darling. Vogue has consistently showed support for Meghan over the years. They've highlighted her amazing style several times, and they've even collaborated. Well, now, Vogue is recognizing Meghan once again, and this time it includes Prince Harry. Vogue released a list of the best engagement rings of all time, and Meghan's ring, the one that Prince Harry designed himself, made the list. Now, before we get into it, if you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and please don't forget to share so more people can find us. Now, let's take a look at that article. Once again, this article is in Vogue, and it's titled The Best Celebrity Engagement Rings of All Time. Celebrity engagement rings are both an object of affection for the famous wearer and an object of fascination for the general public. Not only do they show off the celebrity's personal style, take Meghan Fox's two-stone emerald and diamond ring from Machine Gun Kelly, but they also give us an insight into high-profile love stories we've always wondered about. Meghan Markle's ring from Prince Harry, for example, was made with stones from Princess Diana's private collection. Whereas George Clooney made sure he had an ethically sourced diamond for his human rights lawyer fiancée, Amal Alamuddin. I also want to pause there. Prince Harry also made sure that the center stone was from Botswana and it was blood-free as well. Then there's the fact that due to the significant wealth of the couples involved, the rings are typically, well, huge. Though technically a gift rather than an engagement ring, who can forget Elizabeth Taylor's 33-carat diamond from Richard Burton or Jennifer Lopez's 8.5-carat green diamond from Ben Affleck? Below, ring inspiration galore from some of the dazzling gems sported by stars, royalty, and socialites. While their marriages don't always last, these celebrity engagement rings prove that at least a diamond is forever. Since there were a couple of rings on that list, I decided to skip to the good part because I know how y'all roll, and here is Meghan's edition on that list. And while we watch, I thought it would be fun to hear Prince Harry retell how he created the ring.
I took a ring from Meg's jewelry box and gave it to a designer, so he'd know her size. Since he was also the keeper of Mummy's bracelets, earrings, and necklaces, I asked him to harvest the diamonds from one particularly beautiful bracelet of Mummy's and use those to create a ring. I'd asked my brother if I could have the bracelet and told him what it was for. I don't recall him hesitating for 1 second in giving it to me. He seemed to like Meg, despite his off-cited concerns. Kate seemed to like her too. Along with the diamonds from the bracelet, I'd asked the designer to add a third, a blood-free diamond from Botswana.
In addition to putting in all that effort to create the ring, Prince Harry also had to get Queen Elizabeth's permission. And that story is so funny. I have to share it here. I'm pretty sure some of you have already heard it, but since we're on the topic of the engagement, I have to share that story of him asking Queen Elizabeth's permission.
I told Elf and Jason that I wanted to propose. Congratulations, both men said. But then Elf said that he'd need to do some fast digging, find out the protocols. There were strict rules governing such things. Rules? Really? And said before doing anything, I'd need to ask Granny's permission. I asked him if that was a real rule, or the kind we could work around. Oh no, it's very real. But come to think of it, I did remember Pa asking permission when he wanted to marry Camilla. The absurdity of a 56-year-old man asking his mother's permission had been lost on me at the time. The first 6 in line to the throne had to ask permission. The Royal Marriages Act of 1772, or the Succession to the Crown Act of 2013, he was going on, and I could barely believe my ears. The point was, love took a decided backseat to law. I tried to engage her in some light chat, to loosen her up, and to loosen up my vocal cords. The full seriousness of all this was finally starting to sink in. If Granny said no, would I have to say goodbye to Meg? I couldn't imagine being without her, but I also couldn't imagine being openly disobedient to Granny. My queen, my commander-in-chief. If she withheld her permission, my heart would break. So this moment was either the start of my life or the end. I thought back over the many hinge moments in my life when permission was required. Requesting permission from Control to fire on the enemy. Requesting permission from the Royal Foundation to create the Invictus Games. My life all at once felt like an endless series of permission requests, all of them a prelude to this one, without one more second of hesitation. So as Granny lowered the tailgate and saw her turn to me and frown, did she recognize that I was afraid of both the request for permission and of Her Majesty? And I saw her waiting for me to speak, and not waiting patiently. Her face radiated out with it. I coughed. Granny, you know I love Meg very much, and I've decided that I would like to ask her to marry me. And I've been told that I have to ask your permission before I can propose. You have to? Well, yes. That's what your staff tell me. I stood completely still. I stared at her face, but it was unreadable. At last she replied, well then, I suppose I have to say yes. I squinted. You feel you have to say yes? Does that mean you are saying yes, but that you want to say no? I didn't get it. Was she being sarcastic? Ironic? Deliberately cryptic? Was she indulging in a bit of wordplay? I'd never known Granny to do any wordplay, but maybe she just saw the chance to play off my unfortunate use of the word have and couldn't resist. Or else, perhaps there was some hidden meaning beneath the wordplay, some message I wasn't comprehending. I stood there squinting, smiling, asking myself over and over, what is the Queen of England saying to me right now? At long last, I realized, she's saying yes, you muppet. She's granting permission. Who cares how she words it? Just know when to take yes for an answer. So I sputtered, right, okay, Granny. Well, fabulous, thank you. Thank you so much. I wanted to hug her. I longed to hug her. I didn't hug her. I saw her into the Range Rover, then marched back to Pa and Willie.
Prince Harry has spoken about his special relationship with his grandmother a time or two, and even in his tribute post about her when she passed away, he referenced this, and it's often said that he was clearly her favorite grandchild. But even with all of that closeness and that familiarity, there's still so much respect and reverence that he was still nervous in her presence. And here's the thing about that story that makes me laugh the most. One, I love that Prince Harry gave us his inner dialogue because I felt that anxiety spiral through the pages. I was so nervous. Now, mind you, this is years after the wedding, so I know that she said yes. But the way he tells that story, for a moment, I'm like, oh my God, please, Queen, just say yes. Like, I got fully engrossed in him telling that story. I love the way he tells that story. And I also love the fact that as amazing as Queen Elizabeth was, as dutiful as she was, and as serious as she was, she probably could tell he was nervous, because I love the fact that she poked fun at him a little bit. Like, she teased him a little bit. And he often talked about, or he also talked about in Spare, the mulling over of his word choice. And after all of that thought that went into how he was going to ask her, it didn't come out that way. It just came out all wrong. And so to hear him just kind of express how nervous he was, I think that's a great example of just how much it mattered to him. I just love that story so much. It's funny, but also in it, you can hear just that eagerness to marry the love of his life. He even said, this was a moment of either my life is beginning or it's ending. Oh my goodness, I'm glad she said yes. I'm so glad she said yes. And Meghan and Queen Elizabeth actually had a very nice relationship as well. Meghan spoke about how she definitely respected Queen Elizabeth and she definitely revered her. But when they were communicating and connecting, she just connected with her as a grandmother. And they got on very, very well. And it was very clear anytime they were around each other that they had a special relationship. I've never seen Queen Elizabeth laugh that much. Both times that I've seen them in close proximity, Meghan is talking to her, she is cracking up laughing. And that is the most I've ever seen her laugh, especially in one sitting. They clearly got along very well. And it was also evident that Queen Elizabeth loved both Harry and Meghan and supported them. One, Prince Harry already just confirmed this, but two, it was very clear that she supported them despite her position and definitely protecting the crown and protecting the family, but she still found her way to show support by ensuring they had their own procession at the Platinum Jubilee. She was very clear about her support, and she expressed that in very subtle but very direct ways. That walk was one for the ages. First of all, didn't it feel like that walk lasted hours? That was a long walk, and I loved every second of it because the people who had been naysayers, the people who had been attacking them, the people who had been projecting their thoughts onto Queen Elizabeth and saying that Queen Elizabeth was so disappointed in Harry and hated Meghan and all those things, they had no choice but to sit there stuck, shut their mouth, and watch Harry and Meghan walk by at the behest of the Queen in their own procession right up to the front, past all that BS. The Queen showed her support, and all of those people who were harboring resentment towards Harry and Meghan for whatever ridiculousness or even projecting their own issues onto the Queen, they had no choice but to shut up, sit, be stuck, and watch Harry and Meghan walk by with the full support of the Queen. You see, I love when people get humbled. I love it because Harry and Meghan have been playing nice this whole time, especially leading up to the Platinum Jubilee. The most they had done was shared their experience. They never hit below the belt. They never got nasty, and they definitely didn't tell some of the stuff that they probably could have told that definitely would have lit all of this on fire. They held back, and they still operated with integrity, decency, and with respect to everyone. But they still shared their story because they were being lied on. And people lost their minds and projected onto the Queen. I remember those headlines, and I'm sure many of you do too. The Queen is so disappointed in Harry and Meghan. The Queen has cut Harry and Meghan off, never to speak to them again. Only for Prince Harry to confirm with James Corden that he and Meghan FaceTime with Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth often. And she even sent them a waffle maker. Like, they were all good on the home front. That's exactly why I tell people, yes, they're the royal family, but they are still a family. So when people project, like, I don't think Charles is ever going to talk to Harry again, then people probably got off the phone last night. Like, you don't know. But I just remember that time leading up to the Platinum Jubilee, and people were projecting all of these awful negative assumptions about Queen Elizabeth hating Harry and Meghan and all this stuff, only for Queen Elizabeth to say, watch me work. Not to mention, that walk always reminds me of that moment in The Lion King when Sarabi is walking past those hyenas up to talk to Scar, and she never, although her husband, the king, had passed, she never let off the gas with her dignity. She still carried herself like a queen, and when she walked past him, past those hyenas, they were snarling at her and sniping at her and trying to attack her. She didn't flinch. She had her chin held high and didn't flinch. That moment with Harry and Meghan walking in their own procession, I immediately was like, that is just like that scene. Not Lion King predicting the future. But anyway, that moment is still one of the best moments I have ever seen, especially since covering the royals. That moment kept everybody in a chokehold because they had nothing to say at that point. They had been projecting all the way up until that moment, only for the Queen to say, you thought? She was like, fool, this is my grandchild. Are you crazy? Like, even I said at the time, I'm like, I don't understand how people really think that the Queen is disappointed or angry with Prince Harry. First of all, I know she didn't call you and tell you that, so you're making it up. But then two, do y'all not realize that's his grandmother? I feel like everybody should know grandmothers are often very soft on their grandkids, especially the youngest one. And I know because I'm the youngest on my side. But no, it was very clear that Queen Elizabeth still supported Harry and Meghan. People just wanted her to reject them. People just wanted her to act out their own delusions. And I love that she corrected them and had them all shut up, stank-faced, and quiet as Harry and Meghan paraded in with all that attention with their chins held high. I still love that moment. I just wanted to take a super short break to say, if you have not already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you are interested, feel free to participate in the live chat going on now, or feel free to leave a comment if you do not wish to engage in the live chat. Once again, I know I do this all the time. I'm enjoying a channel, I'm enjoying the video, I'm just having a great time, and I completely forget to hit subscribe. So please don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to comment if you wish, and please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button so that the algorithm on YouTube knows that you like my content. Now, let's get back to the show. A few other notable names that made the list: Beyonce, Sofia Vergara, and Mariah Carey, as well as Mary-Kate Olsen, all made the list. And I don't know how I forgot, but I didn't realize Mary-Kate Olsen was married. Every time I hear that, it's like I'm learning it for the first time again. I always forget because she and Ashley are both notoriously private. I didn't even realize Ashley had a baby. They are very private. Good for them. Also, there were a few other royals on the list. Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie made the list as well. Have you seen it? If you want to go through, there are a lot of people on that list. So if you want to go through it, the link is in the description box below under sources if you want to check out who else made the list of the greatest engagement rings of all time.
Engagement. When did it happen? How did it happen?
And a few weeks ago, earlier this month, here at our cottage, a standard, typical night for us.
It's a cozy night. It was what we're doing, just roasting chicken and
Roasting
having
a chicken, trying to roast a chicken.
trying to roast a chicken. And an amazing surprise. It was so sweet and natural and very romantic. He got on one knee.
Of course.
Was it an instant yes from you?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I could barely let you finish proposing. I was like, can I say yes now?
She didn't even let me finish. She said, can I say yes, can I say yes now? And then there was hugs and I had the ring on my finger and I was like, can I give you the ring? She goes, oh yes, the ring. So no.